Sheila Gunn Reid for Rebel News. I'm standing outside of the United Nations Climate Change Conference venue in Belém, Brazil. To see all of our reports from on the ground, you can go to rebelun.com. Now, I was just very briefly in that excessively air-conditioned venue with my videographer behind the camera who is suffering in the blazing Brazilian heat. We were in there to pick up our media accreditation because, as you know, for the first time in 9 years, we were allowed back inside. But, wouldn't you know it, there was a problem with our media accreditation. They said we could not attend inside the venue where they just have like national pavilions and little displays and then the meeting rooms and the media rooms. Instead, they said we were more than welcome to attend the Leaders Summit, which was 2 weeks ago. So too dangerous to go inside there and look at little displays of different countries and what they're doing to combat climate change, but perfectly fine to attend with the world leaders 2 weeks ago. Now, at the media help desk, where we didn't get very much help at all, they did tell us that we would be welcome to come in if we were affiliated with an NGO, if we knew some sort of environmental NGO that would allow us to tag along, or if we were attached to an official country delegation like Canada. But I know that will never be the case because we are independent media, but also because the Canadian delegation back in 2016 meddled with my accreditation. They actually complained to the United Nations because I asked some skeptical questions of the official delegates inside, and then they had the UN ban me for 9 years, and that ban is ongoing. The United Nations Article 19 and their Declaration of Human Rights is actually the right to free expression, which includes the right to the free press. And it means that you have the right to express your opinion in any way that you see fit, and then to distribute it in any way that you see fit. And yet these people don't even defend their own declaration on human rights, because for 9 years we have been banned from this venue simply because we're skeptics, because we don't think that taxes change the weather, because we think that cities like Belém have bigger problems than climate change when we have raw sewage flowing in to the Amazon rainforest, when we think that money here spent on this conference could be better spent making the lives of the people of Belém better, cleaner, and more hygienic. Well, I guess then we are heretics and we're not allowed in their stupid little conference. But rest assured, for the last 9 years, we've been doing excellent journalism from outside of these venues, and this year is no different. We made a very expensive and very long and arduous trip here. We have a very expensive Airbnb, not because it's luxurious, it's actually quite modest, but because there's 55,000 plus climate activists here wasting the greenhouse gas emissions of 9,000 Canadians that they would spend in a year to get back and forth to work to heat their homes. Because we hold those opinions, we don't get to go inside. The UN this year, along with signatory countries like Canada, well, they're actually codifying their climate change censorship. Let me read this to you. It's from the UN's Global Declaration for Information Integrity on Climate Change. It's part of the Global Initiative for Information Integrity on Climate Change that Antonio Guterres, that's the leader of the United Nations, launched ahead of this climate change conference. It's a political declaration urging governments, civil society, academia, and funders to counter misinformation and disinformation, combat climate denialism, I guess that's me, target online harassment and so-called greenwashing. That's a law we have in place already in Canada. They changed the rules around the competition laws to make it impossible for oil and gas companies to talk about their achievements in reducing greenhouse gas emissions. And it also calls on countries to support journalists and researchers who push the UN climate line. Now, this is the first time that a UN climate conference is promoting an agenda to police information integrity. It's a framework to pressure governments to censor climate misinformation, label dissenting views like mine as denialism, direct funding only toward approved narratives. We're seeing that in Canada already. And marginalized journalists who challenge climate policy. I guess that's me too. We're already seeing the effects of this declaration in action today before this conference in Belém even wraps up. You know, I knew it would happen. I was optimistic, but I do know the United Nations. I knew that they would do their best to censor us. And here we are. Now, we flew all the way to Belém, Brazil to bring you the other side of the story of the United Nations official gathering of the hypocrites and their denial of our entry. Well, that's not going to stop us. To see all of our reports and to support our independent journalism, please go to rebelun.com.